ਦੋਸਤੋ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 'ਚ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ। ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਆਗੂ ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਲੀਏਵ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਗੁੱਡ ਆਫਟਰਨੂਨ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਪੋਲੀਏਵ ਐਂਡ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਸ਼ੋ।
Great to be with you, my friend. Thanks for hosting me.
Thank you for joining us. So we'll start from the homeowner issue. After the Cochin ruling, many homeowners in the British Columbia, they are worried. Do you think government should take the stronger steps for their protection?
Yes, and look, the Cowichan ruling in the federal court case that confronted the federal Liberals has really shocked people. You know,
Yeah.
let's look at, if you're a homeowner, you bought the house, you made the down payment, you paid down your mortgage, you've been paying taxes, and all of a sudden, in a federal court case, a judge comes along and says, it's not your home. It belongs to an Aboriginal tribe. Now, obviously, the Liberal government, which is responsible for this case, the case was brought against the federal government. The Liberals have done nothing, in fact, worse than nothing. They passed what is called Guideline 14, which bans federal lawyers from arguing that private property comes first in disputes with Aboriginal title. That guideline is still in place, and I'm calling on Mark Carney to reverse himself, remove the guideline, bring in a new guideline that sends the lawyers off to the appeal with the argument that private property extinguishes all other claims. In other words, once you own a house, your name is on the deed, you've paid for it, it's your house and no one can take it away from you. That's the argument that Conservatives are asking the federal government to make in the appeal of the Cowichan decision.
So this is a big issue. There are so many other issues, crime, economy, so many things. But in spite of these all issues, why Liberals are gaining the popularity, even some?
I think there's an illusion around Mark Carney. It is an illusion. It's not real. He really hasn't done anything in a year. I mean, if you look at it, objectively speaking, ask yourself, do you feel safer than you did a year ago? Do you feel it's more affordable at the grocery store, the gas pump, or your mortgage payments lower than a year ago? He hasn't approved a pipeline. He hasn't passed any crime laws. He's done basically nothing, but he's got an endless flow of uncritical liberal media that is propping up the illusion. But eventually that illusion is going to collide with the reality. And the reality is with Mark Carney, it's more cost, more crime, more corruption, more of the same. Mark Carney is just another Liberal.
When you are saying this, I totally agree with you. But my concern is so many member parliaments crossed the floor, and polls were suggesting Conservatives' numbers are very high before the election, then it start declining. What is the reason behind that?
Like I said, there's an illusion right now, illusion about Mark Carney, and that illusion is that he promised that he would do the opposite of everything that he had said and everything his party had done for the previous 10 years. Unfortunately, that illusion has taken hold for the time being, but it will collide with the reality that people are experiencing in their everyday lives. And ultimately, time is not his friend because he'll have fewer excuses in a year than he has now. He won't be able to claim that he just arrived on the scene. He won't be able to find other people to blame. He'll have to take ownership for the rising cost, crime, and corruption that Canadians are living under his Liberal government.
He's a well-known economist, everybody knows. And do you think his policies are helping the Canadians, or will they in future?
Well, I ask you. He's been there. He's now in his second year.
There might be some long-term effects, you think?
Like what? What has he actually done? He's announced a lot of things. He's held lots of press conferences. He held a lot of signing ceremonies, but what's he actually done? I mean, he's doubled Justin Trudeau's deficit. And we thought Trudeau was bad with money, and Mark Carney came along and said, hold my champagne. He doubled the deficit up to $80 billion. The debt is now well over $1 trillion. We have the worst economy in the G7, the worst food costs, the worst household debt, the second worst unemployment in the G7, a third higher than in the United States. And 2 million people lined up at a food bank. Mark Carney's been wrong about every single economic issue of the last decade, every single one. He talks about how he's an economist. Well, his economic policies have been a disaster everywhere they've been tried. He was the governor of the Bank of England. He couldn't get elected dog catcher in England right now because he left behind the worst inflation in that country for all of the G7. He caused a housing crisis with all the money he printed in London that has shut an entire generation of English kids out of homes. And then he advised Justin Trudeau on the economy here. What did that give us? The worst inflation in the G7, the worst housing costs, an entire generation shut out of home ownership. He was wrong to say that money printing wouldn't cause inflation. It did. He was wrong to support the carbon tax, wrong to say that we should keep 50% of our oil in the ground, wrong when he set up the Net Zero Alliance to defund the oil and gas sector, supposedly for environmental reasons. That alliance is now bankrupt. He leaves behind a trail of tears everywhere he goes. He's very good at getting fancy jobs. I will give him that credit. He's very good at getting big jobs. Terrible at doing them. And people living with the consequences of his terrible decisions over the last 10 years everywhere he's gone.
So things are the same and even going in the wrong direction too.
Yeah.
But so what option do Canadians have now? Should they wait for the next few years for the next election, or in these years, what your party will do?
We're going to fight for Canadians, where we will fight for affordability. We're proposing to get rid of all taxes on gas. So for the rest of the year, to save you 25 cents a liter, $20 to fill up, $1,200 by Christmas. We're fighting to get rid of all taxes on homes under 1.3 million for all buyers, getting rid of the capital gains tax for anyone who reinvests their money here in Canada, lowering income tax so that hard work actually pays off. And how do you pay for it all? You cut back on bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid, handouts to fake refugees, and countless other examples of waste and mismanagement to bring down the cost of government and the cost of living.
So you think the government size is big and there is a red tape?
Well, it's bigger than it's been in 30 years. If you just take government spending as a share of GDP, it's at 16.9%. That's a 30-year high right now. So a larger share of our economy is being consumed by the federal government than at any time in the last 30 years. So we need to cut back on the size, the scope, and the cost of government to make life affordable again.
So where actually they fail on immigration, we need immigration because the population is aging, but now they are reversing their own policies. What actually they did wrong?
Oh, they did everything wrong, unbelievably. Everything wrong. I mean, they brought in a million students a year, even though we had no homes or jobs for them. They're bringing in a record number of temporary foreign workers, which displaces Canadian kids for jobs. They grew the population 3 times faster than the housing stock, which caused a shortage. They let in terrorists, criminals, and fraudsters in record numbers to our country. They ruined the immigration system. We need to reverse literally every single immigration decision that this Liberal government has made. And Mark Carney will not do that because he's just another Liberal. You need a Conservative government that will get rid of the temporary foreign worker program, cut back further on the student program, kick out the fake refugees who've come in who can safely go back to their country, and basically cap population growth below the growth in housing, healthcare, and job availability. That's how we're going to make this the best immigration system in the world once again.
Do you think they are doing enough to reverse all their policies on the immigration?
No,
They're cutting the foreign workers, students.
They're not really cutting it. They're still the numbers are way above the Harper era levels. So when Carney says he's cut it, he's comparing it to the insanity of his own Liberal government that was higher 2 years ago, but it's still today much higher than it was when Stephen Harper was Prime Minister. Why can't we get back to those levels that we had before? It worked just fine. We had plenty of workers. We had plenty of students in our schools. Let's get back to that.
So in future, if your party forms the government, what concrete step you will take?
On immigration?
Yeah.
I get rid of the temporary foreign worker program altogether. I would cut back further on the student program. I would make it easier to deport false refugees. I would make it impossible for anyone with a criminal record to come into our country. I would identify the Bishnoi gangsters and that are visiting Canada, kick them all out of Canada. And I would make sure that the population never outgrows the housing stock, the number of doctors, and the number of jobs.
Today you're visiting the Lower Mainland and all the media stations. Crime is the main issue. Still, when we are talking, there are some news that there is still one shooting in Surrey. Where on crime federal government failed?
Everywhere. I mean, they're terrible. I mean, it's the criminal code. That's why we have this problem. And it's the borders. Both of those are federal issues. So they passed Bill C-75. This is the liberal bail law. Liberal bail allows you out of jail within 3 hours of your most recent arrest. In Vancouver alone, they had to arrest the same 40 offenders 6,000 times in a year. It's insane. And you know what? That liberal bail law is still in place a year after Mark Carney took office. Despite his promises and his announcements and his speeches, we still have liberal bail. And then he brought in liberal house arrest. You know, you do a sex offense, you shoot somebody, you commit extortion, you can do your sentence in your living room. So we have car thieves who can sit in their living room playing Grand Theft Auto while they're supposedly serving their sentence. That's liberal house arrest. So I would scrap all the liberal crime laws. I would bring in a tough new conservative Jail Not Bail Act, which would lock up serious offenders. Anyone convicted of 3 prior offenses would be permanently ineligible for bail, parole, probation, or house arrest. It will be jail and not bail. 3 strikes, you're out. 3 offenses, you're not getting out of jail. Multiple murderers will be locked up for life. Anyone with a criminal past will not be allowed into Canada. We'll do the criminal background check in the country of origin to keep criminals out of our country. So basically, we need to scrap the entire liberal justice agenda to restore safety and security and end the liberal chaos in our streets.
Sometimes liberals are saying that conservatives are not supporting us on
How is that possible? How is that possible? They have a majority. How is that possible? I mean, it's absolute. Let's just be blunt. It's BS. They don't believe in it. They believe in liberal bail. They believe in liberal justice. They believe in the lobby of the defense lawyers who make millions of dollars off of all this crime. And so the liberals have been in power for 11 years. Do we really need more excuses? And if they can't get it done now, when are they going to get it done? The answer is never. We need a new conservative government that will actually scrap all these liberal laws and lock up the criminals.
And what about the deal with the USA? Our Prime Minister, he promised before election that we'll make a deal with
where's
US.
The deal? We were elected. He was elected because he was supposedly an amazing deal maker. And he hasn't been able to negotiate a single new free trade agreement anywhere in the world. He signed a bunch of meaningless MOUs that are unenforceable documents with countries, most of which we already had free trade with. And the one country we're in a real dispute that's harming our workers, the U.S., since Carney took office, there's been no deal. The Americans have doubled tariffs on steel and aluminum, tripled them on lumber, expanded them to many other products that weren't covered before. Carney has been losing on trade. And here we are again. Lots of illusions, lots of announcements, lots of smiley face signing ceremonies, but no results.
What Canadians should do now?
On trade? Are you talking about trade with the U.S.?
On the general economy and all these issues, crime, what option they have now?
Well, they have a conservative option. I mean, we would do the opposite of the liberals on all of these things. And I put forward a very clear economic plan to cut the government, the bureaucracy, the taxes, make life affordable again, unblock our resources to boost paychecks and our dollar so that we have more buying power, to get free, use our leverage, and we have lots of leverage, to negotiate a free trade agreement with the U.S. that will knock away the tariffs, lock up the criminals, keep out the bad guys, restore order at the border. All of it's very straightforward, and we have detailed plans to do it. So we need a conservative government, and that's what I'm fighting to deliver.
the last any message for our viewers of channel.
Have hope. Better days are coming. Our country wasn't always like this. We had a country where it was affordable, where hard work gave you a great life, where you could gain a big paycheck, buy a house that you own securely, pay down your mortgage, retire with peace of mind after raising kids, feel safe on your street, all united by a beautiful Canadian flag. And that's what we need to restore again.
Thank you, Mr.
All right,
Poilievre,
my friend. Thank you very much. Good to be with you.
Thank you. ਸੋ ਦੋਸਤੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਪੋਲੀਵਰ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣੇ ਆ, ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਮੱਸਿਆਵਾਂ ਤੇ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਸੋਚਦੀ।